Alright, hello guys. In this video, once again, we're talking about Winter Storm Ezekiel, or Major Winter Storm Ezekiel, and it's actually a blizzard right now for the Midwest, and you're probably thinking, why are we talking about this one again? Well, it's going to make its way all the way to the Northeastern United States, which is the only region where we haven't done a snowfall forecast for this one. So this video is going to be exclusively for the northeastern portion of this storm, because we've already done one from the Midwest and the entire Western United States a few days ago when that one was starting up. Now, before I get started with this video, though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you dig weather-related content, and also make sure to share this with your friends and family if you think they will enjoy it, or if they live in the regions impacted or anything like that. Let's get right into things. So we're looking at our current watches, warnings, and advisories here, basically our current hazards, and this is for the entire United States. I wanted to show this just so I could show you that there is a ton of blizzard warnings up for the Midwest, South Dakota, Nebraska, Wyoming, a little bit of Minnesota there as well, and obviously a major portion of that is also winter storm warnings there in the pinks, and then winter weather advisories there for that more purplish shade. And I told you guys that it would be a blizzard, and I expected to see a ton of blizzard warnings up, and sure enough, here we go. Now let's zoom into the northeastern United States for this portion of the video. We're still a couple of days out from when we're going to see major impacts from this one, but we already have winter storm warnings up for those pink regions there for the Catskills down there in New York, and then a bit of Massachusetts and southern Vermont as well. These are actually the areas where I do think that we will see the most accumulation. My accumulation map will be at the end of the video. Notice those purples and kind of magenta colors down there in Pennsylvania and Maryland. That's where we have some ice storm warnings there in that magenta color. And then we have winter weather advisories in that more purplish shade. That's going to be ice and snow. Mostly Pennsylvania will be ice, and then to the north in New York, it'll be ice and snow, I believe. Now, we're about to get into our simulated radar, where you'll be able to see what kind of impacts you could expect for your region. Alright, so you can see here we're starting things out tonight, actually, late tonight. This is going to be about 2 a.m. tonight, which is going to be the beginning of December 1st, the first couple of hours of December 1st here. And you can see we do have some snow going on for Michigan, and some purples, a lot of purples and pinks going on. That's where we're expecting some ice, whether that be sleet or freezing rain for Pennsylvania there as well. Heavy precipitation in the form of rain down there for the Mid-Atlantic, Southeast, Kentucky, Tennessee, a lot of regions there. As we head towards maybe 9 a.m. here, you can see tons of purples and pinks there for central Pennsylvania. Again, that's that ice I was talking about. Expect major ice impacts for Pennsylvania. That's what we're expecting as of right now. But we do see snow starting up for the Finger Lakes and that northeastern corner of Pennsylvania and the northern portion of New Jersey. As we head towards the afternoon of Sunday, December 1st, we can see that upstate New York through central New York is all in that moderate to heavy snow. With just to the west of it, of the snow line there, we see ice and then even rain there for some of those regions. But still some ice going on for the northeastern corner of Pennsylvania, and some snow to the east of that even. But northern New Jersey, we're still snow, and we're seeing the snow starting up for Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont as well. By time we reach about, I would say, sunset on Sunday, December 1st, we see moderate snow throughout upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, including Boston, and then some of southern Maine there as well. Northern Connecticut still getting snow. And our low pressure system is entering the Atlantic now, and it's going to start rapidly intensifying at this point. We have a 995 millibar low pressure system just there along the Jersey coast. And as we head into Sunday night, things are about to start really intensifying as snow begins to become heavier and heavier, and our low pressure system is going to start rapidly intensifying as we move on here. Alright, so you can see it's a 991 millibar low pressure system just 6 hours later. This is going to be about 2 a.m. on Monday, December 2nd, and we can see that the snow is becoming heavier and heavier there for Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Maine as well. It's going to become a lot more widespread as we move on once more towards Monday morning, maybe 8 or 9 a.m. here, and you can see we have moderate snow for upstate New York, northeastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, northern Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine there, as it's a 989 millibar low pressure system by that point. We're going to head on once again, and it's becoming a 988 millibar low pressure system. This is by Monday afternoon, December 2nd. I would say, let's call it 3 or 4 p.m. And then, so New York City is beginning to get snow by this point, northern New Jersey, further south than what we've seen so far. New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Maine, all of these regions are experiencing heavy snow. We do see a little bit of a pocket of no precipitation there for Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. I don't agree with this model in that aspect. It starts to really weaken things out by this point as far as precipitation, which just doesn't make sense with the low pressure system intensifying. So I'd take it with a grain of salt. The snowfall map at the end is going to tell the true story, which again, you should stay tuned for that for sure. And as we head towards Monday night, this is going to be about 8 or 9 p.m., we see that low pressure system is located just over Cape Cod, Nantucket, and Martha's Vineyard. Going to be very windy for those regions with potential for heavy rain. Also, we see moderate snow there still for Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Vermont, Connecticut, Long Island by this point, and New York City still getting snow, and a little bit of upstate New York as well. Boston, if you're getting snow by this point with the low pressure system right there, you could be experiencing blizzard conditions. I am eyeballing the potential for that. I will show you the wind map in just a little bit, and we'll talk more about that, but I am eyeballing the potential for blizzard conditions if the snowfall is heavier than this. I think that the precipitation will be heavier around the low pressure system than what this is showing by this point. It just only makes sense that way. It's a 988 millibar low pressure system, and you can see there's only about moderate precipitation kind of scattered around. But I do like this model in the snowfall map. I agree with it a lot. So I think that this one will kind of update and be a little bit better with the precipitation later on. Now, as we head towards 2 a.m. Monday night into Tuesday, so this is going to be December 3rd, we see moderate snowfall in little bits of pockets for Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. We're going to head on one more, and by time we arrive at Tuesday evening, December 3rd, it's basically done by this point. It's out of here. We're about to move on and take a look at this model's snowfall map, not to be confused with my forecasted snowfall, which is going to be at the very end of this video, but we're going to get into the model's forecasted snow totals and also the wind on this model, so we can talk about that as well. All right, so here's your total snowfall on the GFS, and this is accumulated positive snow depth change, which is different than snow total. This is actually going to be what accumulates on the ground rather than snow total, which is usually a more of a reflection of just how much snow fell, and it doesn't take into account how much accumulated. So this takes into account ground temperature, how long it's been snowing, all sorts of cool stuff like that. I don't agree with how it has New York City in a pretty small amount of snow. I think that New York City will be at 1 or 2 inches of snow rather than just nothing like this is showing. It might trend north later on. I think I might update this snowstorm maybe around Monday one more time if need be. But if this forecast continues to look, fine throughout the next couple of days, I'm just going to leave it and not talk about it anymore. Maybe talk about it, but not make a video on it. But we can see in those purple colors, that's where we're looking at about 3 to 6 inches of snow. In the pink, more like 6 to 12. And then in the greens, that's where we're at 12 inches plus. And I actually agree with the placement a lot with the 12 inches plus on this model. And yes, I do have a forecasted area for 15 inches plus, and it's very similar to where these green areas are set up on the GFS model. So keep that in mind. Let's look at that wind that I was talking about now. So we can see there for Boston, you're in the greens and almost yellows, and I think it could potentially even be heavier than that. If it's snowing heavily by that point, then you will be basically in blizzard conditions. The only thing about blizzard conditions is it has to be prolonged for a certain period of time, and I don't know for sure if we will see that prolonged period of wind and heavy snow. But for the Maine coast through areas to the south and north and in Boston, I think that we could be dealing with blizzard conditions quite easily as long as the low pressure system is located that close to the coast. All right, now we're about to get into our official snowfall forecast for this storm, which is going to be super exciting to see who could expect to see the most snow with this storm. Now in our first layer here, this white layer, we see a dusting to 3 inches, so we can see a lot of big cities in this. Most of the areas in West Virginia actually as well, and those mountainous, very western regions of Maine. I don't know what you call that region. I've been through it many times. I love it there. as well as western Pennsylvania, very beautiful area. We're all expecting a dusting to 3 inches of snow, as well as the northern half of New Jersey, most of Pennsylvania, all of Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and all of New York State as well. We see Cleveland, Buffalo, Syracuse, Scranton, Albany, New York City, Boston, Burlington, Portland, Bangor, Holton. I probably didn't have to say all that because you can see that all of those areas are in there, but they are, and I just wanted to let you know. Let's look at our second layer here, which is our 3 to 6 inch layer here for a lot of regions. We can see mountainous West Virginia and, again, that area in Maryland there that we're expecting to get 3 to 6 inches of snow. The northern regions in Pennsylvania, the northern regions in New Jersey as well. I think New York City, you're right on the line of 3 inches. So you're right on the line of being in the dusting to 3 inches or the 3 to 6 inches. So right around 3 inches is what I'm expecting. Upstate New York, a lot of you are in 3 to 6 inches. All of Connecticut, all of Rhode Island, all of Massachusetts, all of New Hampshire, a lot of Maine and Vermont there. Let's take a look at your next layer, which is your 6 to 10 inch layer. We can see a little bit of mountainous West Virginia there is in there. We see the Finger Lakes regions through Syracuse, Albany, Scranton, Boston, you're in this as well, Albany, Portland. We see not the northern New England regions, you're kind of too dry. You're not going to get enough precipitation. It'll definitely be cold enough and it won't have any mixing issues, but just not quite enough precipitation getting all the way up there. Now, for your 10 to 15 inch layer, we see Syracuse, Albany, Scranton, you're right on the line. Boston, you're right on the line too. I think if you're north of Boston, you probably get over 10 inches of snow. And we see Portland in the 10 to 15 inches as well. And we have one more layer, your 15 to 20 inch layer here. You can see the Berkshires, some of those mountains there. I don't know what you call them, near Concord, Massachusetts, and then up through just to the areas east of Keene, New Hampshire, and to the west of Manchester and Concord, New Hampshire, that is. And then we see the areas in Albany and to the west of Albany as well in that 15 to 20 inches of snow. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, I might be updating this one Monday if need be, but if this one seems to be accurate further down the road, if I'm thinking Sunday into Monday, this one still looks good, I'm just going to keep it with this, but be on the lookout for updates just in case. Anyway, share this with your friends and family on Facebook or other social medias if you think they live here or if they will find it useful or interesting. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.